Oh my God. That's what video should have on the song.
Like, for real though, free promotions on here.
That's my song right now. It's all about Nico.
Lord
We
God.
don't do free promotions here.
You feel me? We have people, listen, we have people on our platform that be peeling off labels off of bottles because they ain't trying to promote.
That's right. That is right.
Oh my God.
Listen. Oh my goodness. Hold on, let me just share it real quick before I forget. Scroll down. Yep. Share. Done. I sent the link. I didn't send it to you. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I thought I did. And I was thinking he was late. There we go. That was my fault. All right. One more share, guys. On second. Who dropped out? Oh, Kayla is in the darkness. All right, guys. Choo. Welcome everybody to our live tonight. Let me add Christopher before I do the intro. There we go. Welcome everybody to our live tonight. We have 6 persons currently on the panel, and we're gonna have one joining us later, hopefully, to join the conversation. So tonight, we want to talk a little bit about, and the topic is on the screen. The topic is, do you agree that females that are dressed more risque are asking for unwanted attention, which sometimes end up in rape? So unwanted attention, being harassed, walking on the street, and that losing tire sound, that's, or that hey baby, or saying saying sexual things that I consider it's inappropriate. Plain and simple, inappropriate, because you are dressed in a certain way. Now, I know a couple things are going to come up tonight. There is freedom of expression. You can wear what you want when you want. However, there's also going to be the talk about appropriateness of what you're wearing in the situations that you're in. Because I don't think you should wear a swimsuit to church. Just an example. So we're going to start it off, and again, we're going to go around the board and kind of just say your names for those who are just joining us that has never watched us before. My name is Shara again, by the way. We're going to go around the board, and I'm going to kind of get your opening remarks on this topic, and then we're going to jump into it. So Kayla is right next to me, so Kayla is going to go first. Opening remarks on this statement, and we go straight across the board. You are mute, honey. I can't hear you. Still not hearing you. All right, Kadisha, we're going to go with you while Kayla gets our thing ready. We don't need to see you. We just need to hear you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kadisha. Well, for me on this topic, because for me, I know that I am a carnival person, so I would wear short shorts and stuff like that. But in a sense, I'm very professional, so I know the time and place where to wear stuff. However, I think it's my right to dress how I want, in what I feel is comfortable to me, right? As Shar started to say, yeah, you want to wear a swimsuit to church. I can understand that. However, but there's some places, like for instance, if you're going to the supermarket and you feel like to wear booty shorts or as Jamaicans say, a body rider and a little front printer, that's your choice because you feel comfortable. I understand that there may be kids and stuff like that, but it's not my responsibility to parent your child or to keep certain things away from your child. So for me, it's not drawing attention to myself, it's just being comfortable in what I wear.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
strong girl.
Yeah, Julie.
Monique.
So I'll start off with I feel like the whole thing is geared towards, does what you wear dictates should you or should you not be raped? You should not be raped, period. Rape is wrong, it's disgusting, it's vile, it's taking away somebody's agency over their own body. It's one of the most disrespectful thing a man or woman could do to somebody else. So point blank, period. Like, it's disgusting. Like, no matter where I wear, you could be wearing a sheet, you could be wearing a bikini, doesn't matter. If somebody's mindset is to rape you and to harm you and to get power and control over your body, that's what they're going to do. On the topic of clothing, I believe, for me personally, I believe in modesty. So yes, it depends on where you are. You wear a bikini at the beach because that's what we do, right? You go to church, whether you want to Pentecost, you wear something strapped to your ankle and your wrists, kind of up to you, whatever you decide to wear according to your denomination, all that wonderful jazz. But as you said earlier, if you want to go to the grocery store and wear a booty shorts and a tank top, just know, yes, you should feel comfortable in wearing whatever you want to wear, but know that men like these things. It looks good to them. So that's why I started out with the whole topic of rape is wrong. So it doesn't mean you should rape a woman because she looks like that, but just know if you wear that, they will be attracted to you because it's attractive to them. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Perfect. Kayla.
Kayla is back. Everyone can hear. Okay.
Yes.
So my stance on this statement, I do not agree that if you're wearing something that may be more revealing or more risque, it is an opening for people to do whatever they feel like doing to you. Secondly, trigger warning for the rest of this video for sexual assault, sexual abuse, rape, etc. So if you're watching, trigger warning, you might get triggered. So please watch at your own advisory. Thirdly, I am of the strong conviction that I will wear whatever I want when I want to wear it, wherever I want to wear it. And what other people wear or do, if it doesn't negatively impact me and the people around them, then do whatever you want. I don't really care. I personally do not take kindly to people coming at me and, expressing their opinion when it is not asked for. And I'm not into the whole I'm going to police what other women are doing with their body. They could do whatever they want. I don't care. Just like how I will do whatever I want. I don't care what anybody has to say about it. I'm going to do it anyways. So, best you keep the stress away from yourself, worrying about what I'm doing and what I'm wearing. End.
Right. And now the only gentleman on the live tonight. What's your take on the topic, Christopher? Opening remarks.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I feel honored to be here with all these beautiful ladies. God, I don't know. Somebody asked the other day if I was a housewife, so make it very clear. I am not a housewife, but I'm a husband.
There you go.
So let anybody get it confused. I am a husband, not a housewife. All right. Oh yes, but the topic at hand.
Frozen.
I think so.
Frozen. 2 more seconds before, because he's probably gonna have to pop off and pop back on. You're frozen, Christopher, in case you're talking and you can hear us, like we can't hear you. Let's move on to Sam until Chris comes back. Go ahead, Sam.
Okay. Even everyone, and thank you for Kayla for making that remarks for people to be aware of the conversation that we're having. Um, Money kind of just sums up everything that I wanted to say, but I would say my take still. Your clothing, whatever you wear, should not be an indication or an invitation for anyone to sexually assault you or harass you. And you've all said on here, depending on where you're going, dress modest, dressed a certain way, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you wear. If you feel like you want to be in the back of your yard in a two-piece, that should not be an invitation. It's just like men don't have to go through the same thing that women go through. They can sag their pants, they can show their their underpants and all that stuff, and they don't have to go out on the streets or be in their home or at work or coming from somewhere and have that fear of my pants is too short or my boxers is showing, I might get sexually assaulted. So I don't think what you wear should be an invitation. Yes, you may get comments from people saying you're not dressed appropriate and all that stuff. You can talk, but you should not touch. So that's where I stand.
I agree. Christopher, you got cut off. We didn't hear anything that you said.
I know. My internet is just crazy. Third world country. It's different from you, first world country people.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. But should a man feel like they want to rape somebody because of what they wear? Absolutely not. Even if you see a woman walking naked down the street, there's absolutely no right for any man, anywhere, at any time, to want to feel like or think that they should rape this woman. It's nasty, it's disgusting, it's sick, it's inhumane to Monique says, to want to take somebody's power away. So I really, really don't think that any man should even think that. But the reality, all right, the reality is that the two men can be categorized in two different, how would I put it? Two different types of men. There are those men who are sick enough to see that because a woman is wearing a shorts, they feel like they need to prey upon that woman. And then there's also another man who can see that woman, and there's no second thought. There's nothing that comes to this man that I need to have sexual imagination or have sex with this woman. But so my personal opinion, because there are two different type of people who think differently. So because people think differently, you have some that are sick enough to want to prey upon the woman. But then there are the others who are real men who are going to say, hey, it's a woman. She looks good, compliment her if you need to compliment her, and then move on.
I agree. I think it's like the general consensus about the board, and we're just going to say that rape is wrong in any way, shape, or form. It does not matter what the female is wearing. It is never, female or male, it is never the victim's fault. Never. Because some people have the argument that based on what you're wearing, you are asking for it. I do not believe that what you're wearing should. However, I do believe that you should have. What do I want to say? There's appropriateness in what you wear, and I mean, I feel like we can all agree that sometimes when we go some places and we see how females are dressed in that particular setting, we shake our heads because it's not appropriate for that setting. Having said that, it doesn't mean that if they wear it to that setting, it means that they want somebody to harass them. So it doesn't just go to rape. There's so many things that they do to you before it even gets to that point. The words that they slur at you, I mean, and some might be even bold enough to try to touch you. And they'll look at you like you're in the wrong because you chose to wear that outfit. So therefore, if I chose to wear a booty shorts, that means I want you to touch me. That I'm giving you consent to touch me because I'm putting it out there, essentially. So I don't know, what are your guys' view on that in terms of, if you go out, ladies, and you're in a booty shorts, and then I want Krista to chime in after. If you go out in a booty shorts, is that invitation for you to touch me?
I'll slap you. I'm telling you right now.
Right.
Don't even. Seriously though.
Because
If you're
the
willing to
thing
give
is that you're
back.
putting it out there, and a lot of people are saying that you're not leaving anything for the imagination. And if we go back in time, back in the day, and even in some countries now based on religion, you don't wear certain clothing, right? You don't wear, like, if you're a Muslim, you're completely covered up from head to toe. As a Christian, depending on the church you go to, because Christianity is so wide, so vast, it depends on which church you go to. Which one of them you subscribe to will determine how you dress. But then you have the good old apostolic from back in the day, where your skirt should be at your knee, get boobs covered up, all, and it is a notion that if you dress like that, you won't get raped, you won't be harassed, and that will happen. But if you dress like, a modern day saint, which is with booty shorts and stuff, then it's invitation to be raped. Like you're putting yourself out there as essentially a rape bait.
But I get you want to go, Monique? Or?
Go, Sam. It's okay. I'm probably thinking
maybe we're going to talk about the same thing. So there's this art exhibition called "What Were You Wearing?" So what it's trying to do is try to demystify the myth that what you wear has something to do with you being sexually assaulted or abused as a child. And in that package, in that art exhibit, you see different types of clothing where someone, it may give a statement like the person is coming from college, right, on their way home from college, on their way home from work. I was in my pajama, I was in a skirt and a blouse coming from work, and just normal things that you do every day. The clothing, they weren't inappropriate because there were people either coming from work, going to school, in their bed sleeping, or so what that art exhibition do, it's try to demystify the myth, because we try to tell that if you wear something sexy or revealing, you will get raped, and if you are clothed from head to toe, you won't. But that's not it. When it comes to rape, it does it does not discriminate anyone of any religion, race, age, gender, class can be sexually assaulted. I think when we talk about dressing in a certain way, or being exposed, I think it goes back to just having respect. And as Charlene was saying, like back then, our grandparents and our parents, they used to dress a certain way, but as different generation come along, it's like it started to change with everything. But it doesn't matter how the conversation go around, it comes back to, it doesn't matter what I have on, where I'm at, that does not give you the right to touch me, to sexually assault me, to even say anything to me, right? But I think it goes to power and control when it comes to and I'm being specific with men, because they know that sometimes as women we are weaker, so in terms of strength, so a lot of times they can muscle us, right? And they use tricks and certain things, to put that fear into you, to not to talk, or to report that you have been sexually assaulted. So That's just a myth that, you know, what you wear. If you wear long skirts, a job covered from head to toe, just peeping your eyes out, you'll be surprised. In every race, every culture, it's there.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I always say. I feel like there are three things in my mind, in the mind of a social worker, that we continuously battle with in society today. So you have mental health as one of them, mental illnesses, you know, whatever in that scope, and the LGBTQ plus, if I'm calling that right, community, and what they deal with and how society accepts them now. And the conversation about sexual assault or sexual violence in general is another huge topic. And I feel like sexual assault and the conversation have come some ways, because it's not new. It's not new to us. It's not something that is, oh, it's only independent of this society that we're living in. Like this society back to maybe 2000s when, you know, booty shorts became a huge thing. And, you know, maybe you can look back in the some of these music videos we used to watch back in the days. They probably weren't much in. And now it has, oh my, you could see strings with butt cheeks shaking on your screen, because that's what it has come to now. But does that mean that sexual assault did not exist from back in the days when people were dressing even more modest? It's just more of a conversation now. It's not that it wasn't there. But that just goes to say, it doesn't matter what you wear, because back in the days they weren't wearing skimpy this and skimpy that or whatever. They just knew, they probably grabbed some banana trash and made some clothes, and they were, you know, fully covered, or what, God knows what. But sexual assault has been around from then. It's just been it is now a little bit more part of the conversation, especially with the Me Too movement. Now we see things coming out to light because people are moving beyond the shame and the self-blame that they put on themselves. Because maybe a lot of women were thinking, well, I should not have worn that shorts or that skirt or whatever, so I brought it onto myself. Because that's the narrative that society constructs for us. Oh, if you weren't wearing that, then maybe you wouldn't have. And then when you go in the criminal justice system, the lawyers and the judges and the crown prosecutors in there, they don't make it no better for you, because that's the same narrative that they have, that you must have done something to brought that onto yourself, right?
True. Christopher, do you want to weigh in?
One of the things I look at is that while I will never blame a victim, because you're a victim. However, a lot of women or young women put themselves in some position, yeah, where they are compromised, yeah, based on, I would think that sometimes their values, their personal values are locked there. They find themselves out, they put themselves out there because when they look in the mirror, they want to believe that when they walk on the street, men would say, have to say hi to them. And a lot of times I've seen women who are going to dress a particular way because, you know what, just to draw that attention that somebody say hi to them, because they're not confident enough to say, you know, if I wear something that seems a little bit modest or I cover up, then I'm not going to get the same attention. And that, to me, is a problem. Yeah. And again, I will never blame a victim. A victim is a victim. And anybody that rapes that person, even though they might put themselves out there in that manner. There are a lot of young ladies, especially in Jamaica in particular, because we know that in like Canada and the US, it's a little bit different based on culture. Yeah, you can't touch a woman. You know you're going to go to prison. You know it's going to be different. But in Jamaica in particular, where the law is probably not so rigid, yeah, people just, it's okay just to slap a girl because what she's wearing, and she feels good and she will laugh about it and she feels like, okay, it's okay. Not realizing, a lot of young women not realizing what they're doing is actually leading on somebody and probably causing, because they say nothing, yeah, they probably cause something further to take place because they say nothing, they do nothing, and they smile or they laugh about it. Oh, it's my friend, man, and all of that. So I think sometimes women should think, especially your environment, how you dress in a particular environment, the persons that are around, and all that, and stand up for what you believe, and let people know that, listen, I am not for sale. I can't be touched. You should not touch me. You should not. If you want to say hi, say hi and go.
I'm itching to respond.
Yeah,
I'm itching
go
to
ahead,
respond
Monique.
because I will say this. I will say this. How about we deconstruct the societal construct of how a man should see a woman? How about we do that? How about we teach young men how to value young women regardless of what she's wearing? How about we teach young men to put women on a pedestal, because without them, there is no me, there is no you, there is no Shar, there is no Sam, there is no Kayla, there is none of us, because women bring life. Like, so how about we change how men, young men, if you're saying Jamaica, like I grew up there, so I know. How about we change how men see women? How about we change that language and that narrative? It's not about, I get what you're saying. Yes, put yourself together, carry yourself well. But what if carrying yourself well to you is feeling sexy and confident in a tube top and a booty shorts? Does that then ask that you have rape inflicted on you? And I know you said that it's wrong. The victim is, it's never their fault. I hear that part for sure. But I have to beg to disagree with the part where, because you dress a certain way, you're in. I get men are what they call them. It's a prey and predator situation. A girl looks sexy. I gotta say, yo, she look nicey. But why can't you say that without touching her? How about we change that conversation? You know?
I agree. Go ahead, Christopher.
I totally agree with you that it needs a reconstruction. It needs, but on both sides, right? It needs for us, yeah, in the home has failed miserably, yeah, and it needs a reconstruction. So the young lady also knows her worth, knows what she's worth, yeah, and that is one of the major challenges. A lot of young women don't know what they're worth. They think that they're worth being slapped on the bottom, they're worth being just pulled aside, and everything else that comes with it, yeah. So while I totally agree that the young men need to be re-socialized, re-educated about women and what is wrong and what is right and the boundaries. I totally agree. But also, young women need also to be bring up to speed, to value themselves, to know that, listen, and it's not, I don't believe for me it's what you wear, yeah, because there are a lot of people who see themselves as being upright and have great stature, but they wear short shorts. I don't think that it's what you wear that is going to define you, it's your character that defines you. Yeah, so, but I just think that more emphasis must also be placed also. It's both ways, not necessarily more, both ways.
Man,
if you want information, put 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
I see a hope in a kind of room.
Before I even address the point and allow y'all to dive in, let me welcome Tamara to our live tonight, guys. I'm gonna let Tamara.
Welcome.
Second. Christopher,
thank you, everybody. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Christopher just lit a fire, so I'm gonna go through and then I'm gonna come right back to you tomorrow. To Christopher's point, so both you and me, so a situation happened to me when I was younger. The live is being played somewhere and it's being an echo. So I was dating someone, and for me, dating back then was literally just saying I had a boyfriend. So let's be clear. That's all it was. Just me saying I had a boyfriend. That was dating. So anyway, I was dating someone, and my ex saw me, and while I was standing here talking to this person that I was dating, he came up and he just slapped me on my butt. And I was like, because this has never happened before. So you're gonna come to me and do that I put him in his place right then and there. Do not touch me, do not talk to me. We are not friends. I do not know you. Like, that is not acceptable. That's not something that you can ever think, that whether we're together or not together, that is not something that you are allowed to do at this point in my life. No, never. So I agree with Christopher when he says females have to have a certain standard. However, I also agree with Monique. You have no right to touch me, even if I'm in a booty shorts. Point of information, I was not in a booty shorts, but I'm just
Exactly.
saying.
I was about to say that, Sean,
I
because
hope
if you
not.
were standing there in a what you call this, in a maxi dress, or you had on a nice pair of jeans, some apple bottoms, let's say, that show all of the curvatures. If you had on, a boot, it doesn't matter what you had on in that moment. I think as you were speaking, I was trying to analyze what he did. So you're there with somebody else. You've definitely emotionally moved on, right? And so in that moment, he wanted to prove his power and his control. Because he's trying to show this man that, yo, me a man a yard, I'm my girl this. So that was his way of showing that, yo, I'm controlling that situation. Had nothing to do with what you were wearing.
Exactly. So that's the thing. There's so many things behind. There's ego behind touching the female on the male's part, because you want to show that, oh, I'm a boss, I'm a player, I can get any girl I want, I can do whatever I want. So let me do that. Go ahead, Kayla. You have a burning point.
Yes, I have a question based on what you said about, oh, well, what you wear doesn't define your, character. It is your personality and whatever. When people see you out on the road, like for instance, if I go down the road to go buy a bag juice, nobody is going to be looking at me in my sports bra, because when I was like 15, 16, all of the time I'd go to the supermarket in like bra and
Kayla,
hello.
you kind of froze out of the question.
Okay,
The
so
last
if
part
I
we
go to
heard
the
was
supermarket,
bra.
yeah, I go to the supermarket like when I was 15, 16. Usually, if I'm tired and it's hot, because Jamaica hot, and no AC in the day and at least food fear. So I would go to the supermarket in like a shorts, probably not a short shorts, but like a mid-thigh shorts and a sports bra. And if I go on the road and I am going to go get my little groceries, and somebody come up to me and they're just like, oh, you look nice. Nobody's looking at me like, oh, her personality must look so amazing in those shorts. Wow, that sports bra is really showing off her taste in music. They're not going to do that.
Really intelligent, hey?
Exactly. Like they're not going to be looking at that. All they're going to be looking at is, oh, she have cleavage. Oh, her bottom look really nice in those shorts. Oh, let me go talk to her. Not realizing that the only thing I'm coming here to do, because in my mind, I'm just coming here to go buy my groceries and cut. I'm not coming here to entertain no grown man's fantasies about no little picnic. And saying that, most of the time when I would be harassed wherever I would be on the road, like if I was going to go do my hair, if I was going to the supermarket, if I was going somewhere else, it would be in my school uniform. And I'm sure my school uniform was not a batty shorts. It was definitely a long tunic below the knee and a shirt with my school curse on the breastplate. Everybody knows say it's school me I come from. And that is most of the time. Even if I would go out in booty shorts, I would get less harassment than if I was going out in my uniform.
That is sick.
I
It
think
is
I want to say
disgusting.
I think Chris contradicts himself because and I kind of understand what he's saying, but I think he's not getting the point. Um, when he says he understands that no woman should be raped, da 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 da. But however, we must have respect, and when you behave a certain way, that speaks about your character. Whether a woman has no self-respect for herself, or she wants to walk on the road naked, or behaving in such a way which we would say it's not ladylike, it doesn't give anyone at all the right to sexually assault that person. You may look at that individual and say, oh, she maybe needs to have more self-respect, right? That as far as it should go, or you maybe try to talk to her and encourage her, but that does not give you the invitation to say, oh, she doesn't have any self-respect for herself, she's wearing a thong walking down the street, so that's an invitation. It doesn't matter what she does. If she, the famous back road, if she's around the famous back road in Portmore, it doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't give a man the right or a woman the right to sexually assault anyone at all. And let's be clear, when it comes to sexual violence, it's not stranger danger as we think, right? 82% of the time, it's people that you know. So that could be your father, friends, uncle, moms, dad, grandfather, cousin, and 18% of the time, it's stranger. And so we have to get that out of the way. And also, if you have, I would just want to put this to Chris if he's listening.
I'm here.
I have a 10 bedroom house. Which I have 15 cars, right, parked in my garage. If I leave my gate open, or the time is hot right now, and I'm in my house laying down, does that give someone the right to come in and steal a car because my gate is open, or come through the window and steal my things because I have too much money or I have too much car? No, you walk past it, you stop and you, wow, that's a nice house. It has 15 cars. That person must have worked hard, or whatever assumption you want to make. So it's the same when it comes to sexual violence, right? It does not give you the right, as I said, whether you think the person has no respect, they carry themselves in a manner that is not sophisticated, and the command respect. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So that's what I think this is not understanding on that end.
Honestly, if I can chime in and just add to what Sam said, honestly, Sam, you hit the nail on the head, because I've been thinking it, that it's not stranger danger, it's people that you know. And I'll even dial it in a little bit further. Do you know how many little girls are walking around here and abused? They were babies, laying down in a bed somewhere at night, handled, touched, molested. Do you know how many little girls are forced, raped at 5, 6 years old? Now tell me, whether she went in a one like a panty and like a t-shirt and go out there, or she
In a
dress from church, what permission does that give you to violate that little girl's body or that little boy? Please tell me. It doesn't matter what they were wearing. What permission can that child have given you based on what they were wearing? Let that sink in for a second. So we've been looking at adults and how we carry ourselves outside. But rape affects adults, but it affects kids just as much as it affects adults, right? So how did that precious child, so fresh to this world and unknowingly, how did they invite you into their private parts? Please tell me how, right? So I feel like, again, it brings it back. Clothing has nothing to do with it. It really doesn't.
Even self-respect. And a lot of people, I want to get back to what Chris said something about, females putting themselves in certain situations. So he didn't say this, but I'm just going to go. So you meet a guy and, you guys are flirting over the phone, chatting and stuff. You go out on a date and you finally reach the point where, you might have agreed before you got over his house to stay, or before he comes over to your house, that, you guys are going to do something tonight. When that person arrives at the house, right? That does not mean you should act. So even if we're in the act of being intimate and I say, stop, you should stop.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you have already gotten heated and, you're all there and ready. If I say stop, you should stop. And just to make it clear, if you continue after I say stop and forcing me, that then becomes sexual assault. And a lot of people tend to get this. This is where I think it gets a little bit sticky. But if you understand, if the person says stop, and there's one communication body language that you can look at the other person to know if the person is into this sexual act that we're doing. If the person is crying, if the person is drunk, if the person is passed out, they cannot give consent, right? We need to get consent and have those conversations. You guys may have talked over, on the phone about doing this act, but when she gets there, or when he gets there, be clear about what is it that you're doing. Maybe place the condom there. Are you okay to do this? Is it okay? We need to start having those conversations, because even if you put on that condom and I say to you, maybe 5 minutes in or 10 minutes, you know what, I don't want to do this. I have the right. It's my body. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it is my right to say stop 15 or 20 minutes in, right? So men and women need to understand that.
I agree. I'm gonna let Tamara chime in now. I'm thinking you
Okay.
could start a conversation. So yeah.
Yes, good night again, everybody. I joined the class late, sorry about that, but I'm listening in on what you're discussing. And the topic, do you agree that females that are dressed more risky are asking for unwanted attention? The whole issue of dress and the stance that we're taking, I think somewhat we are going against what culture dictates, because culture somewhat dictates that as a woman, you are to dress a particular way. And generally speaking, you get a certain amount of respect without, you even asking for it when you are dressed a particular way. And whether we want to admit it or not, that's the reality. If you dress in a pair of shorts and you go on the road, as opposed to somebody that's dressed in a skirt, the woman in the skirt is going to get more respect than the woman in the shorts. Do you all agree with me on that? Okay, right? And everywhere in society, I went to an all-girls institution, Shortwood Teachers College, and we were taught for us to be a lady, we had to wear our skirts 3 inches below our knees, right? So if you have a society teaching women that they have to dress like that, then you can understand why men and other people would think that if a woman is dressed a certain way, then if she is raped, she deserves it. No, note, guys, I am not for one moment saying that I agree with that. I am only merely stating what culture dictates. My stance on it, it doesn't matter how the woman dress, it's her prerogative. She dresses how she wants to dress. And nobody, whether man or woman, has no reason to put their hands on her, right? But I'm just saying, we also have to look at the culture, the norms of society in having such a discussion.
That's true, and I think that's the reason why we're here now, because society, based on how we grew up, and society kind of dictates like if you wear a booty short, you're not respectable. But if you wear a skirt long down to your ankle and you might be doing so many other things that are not considered respectable, but you're wearing the skirt down to your knee. So once I see that, you're respected because you're covering up at that point in time. And I think that's what we need to get away from, thinking that how you dress determines the level of respect that someone gives you. What I wear,
and it's important to note too that if you were supposed to collect some data on the type of women being raped, it is not the women who are wearing the shorts, it is not the women who are dressing revealing who end up being raped. It is those women who are probably properly covered and protected, right? Because a lot of these women, they really don't have that level of self-esteem. They don't know themselves. And listen, I wore my first pants, guys, when I was in college, right? Because I grew up in the church. I only started wearing shorts when I was in my 30s. Okay? So, because I've never had that experience, but I'm just saying, because of how sheltered I was growing up, I probably would have been at risk if I was in a place where, I could have been raped, right? So dressing up in particular is really no reason, and it really doesn't prevent you either, right? So the long skirt and all of them things really don't prevent it, right? So,
yeah. It doesn't. But it doesn't. But then, go ahead, Christopher.
I seem to open a can of worm and probably misunderstood in a little bit. But listen, I believe where there's right, there's responsibility. All right? It is a woman's right to dress however she wants. Yeah? That should not even be debated. What should be debated is when is it appropriate? Yeah? Again, I agree with Monique that our men need to be recultured. However, there's a responsibility on our women, yeah, to make sure that, listen, since we know that this is how society is, which is wrong, yeah, it is wrong. It should not be accepted. However, women need to accept the responsibility to themselves to know that, listen, you're going to dress. If you know, will you see a group of guys, yeah, down the road, and they have a reputation of doing bad things, including rape, and you're going to walk in the middle of it and walk in the middle of them at whatever time of the night? I don't think so. Yeah, because your personal self-responsibility is going to tell you that's probably not the smartest thing to do.
And I want to throw that
those men are on the street.
You know, them still are going looking at whether you wear pants or shorts or a skirt. Them still are going to see look what you're jiggling in a long skirt, same way, or in a dress. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, honestly. Come, you can walk down there now and sheet and come and look about it, come out, look further than for everybody that you see tap over and say, oh, okay. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me, honestly. I see where it matters because your butt can move just as much in a shorts as it does in a long skirt. Like certain parts of your body can be seen and pronounced. It doesn't matter what you're wearing for them to be attracted to you. If somebody have that sick, twisted mindset to rape you, that is what they're going to do.
And it's about
I
power.
totally agree with that.
It's about power and control. And I just want to throw this back to you, Chris. So we know, people like to steal cars. So if you're going to say that, you're not going to dress a certain way or you're not going to walk on the street late. And I'm not saying, we should put ourselves in harm's way, right? But in buying a car, are you not going to buy a car because you think that, it might get stolen, or you're not going to build a house and put the luxury things that you want in it because someone may come in and steal some of your things? What we have to try and do is to change the narrative to let men know that a woman's body is not yours. You have no right to it. You have no access to it until that woman says yes. So that is what we have to do. And society create the narrative. And that is why we're here having this conversation, because a lot of times, matter of fact, sexual assault survivors are often victim blame. We victim blame them. It's the only crime, right? We don't say, why did that guy walk down the road and no, he got hit by a bus or he got shot or something like this. We always say, why did she wear that? So we have to really think about what we're saying.
That's true. I added Camille to the live because I see Camille going off in the comment section. So I'm pretty sure she has a.
Oh Jesus! Trouble in the fight, yeah.
So I wanted her to come on and share her views on this topic.
But the question, though, Charlene. Based on the reasoning, based on what I'm hearing. It's as if we're saying that, listen, there's no responsibility on the woman. Anything goes. There's no responsibility on the home to make sure that child is grown up, that girl is grown up with high self-esteem, with self-worth, self-value. Is that what we're saying? Because once that woman or that young lady knows...
You have a question, Chris.
When she knows her worth...
Let's say I have a daughter. Let's just use me because I don't have a kid yet. So let's say I have a daughter. God forbid. She turns to grow up to be this beautiful, amazing lawyer, or she's a doctor. Who knows what? And one fateful day, she's leaving her office, and her office is located in a weird location, or almost is like a back alley, but it's her own office. Maybe it's her office or her own law firm. You know, she's walking out, nice tailored skirt with a nice little split at the very end. You know, nice jacket, proper, come on. And a man snatches her, rapes her, and violates her in the most disrespectful way. Is it that she doesn't have self-worth and she doesn't know how to dress? Or is that his decision to do that to her? I think that's what we're trying to get at. Because I get what you're saying, and this is not a matter of, does your demeanor, the way you carry yourself as a woman, the way you dress, does that dictate your self-worth or your self-respect? What you're wearing, does that warrant a person's decision to rape you? I think that's the bottom line. And it doesn't what you're wearing. It does not warrant rape at all.
Can I jump
Absolutely
in, please?
not.
Go ahead.
Can I jump in?
Absolutely not.
Go ahead.
Good evening, folks. I was 7.5 in one of them granny dresses my grandmother made for me when my granduncle inappropriately touched me. I didn't do anything to invite the behavior. I had just met him like he came from prison the day before. First me meet the man. I wasn't even sexy, skinny. I was breastless. There was nothing about me that should have attracted this man to me, yet still this man did it. So of course, because of that experience, I can never ever put it down to clothes. Christopher, can I tell you something? I said it in the comments, but I'm not sure who saw it, so I'm going to repeat myself. When it comes to how men treat women, and then we boil it down to this because of how the woman dresses or what the woman says or whatever, I think it's a means of power. It's because men naturally think they are the most powerful sex. They're the more powerful sex, right? I am walking down the street and I see a very hot dude, and this penis start busting out his pants, sexy as hell. I'm not tempted to touch. I don't go touch that man because you look like you have a trident. I don't.
Yes,
Come on.
You have the greatest pecs in the world. I don't go touch your pecs. No, I don't.
Touching tits and all things.
Exactly, showing breastplate and all of that, and the sexiest butt on earth. I don't go smacking that man's butt. No. But the man thinks he can do it because the man sees himself as the more powerful sex. And so they do that, and then we have people like Christopher who boils it down to, you need to dress a certain way, and if you dress a certain way, it's because of your self-esteem. I don't think so. I literally don't think so.
But
where I live,
we should not forget that men are. I was saying that don't forget that men are attracted by what they see, or they're stimulated rather by what they see. So seeing a woman dressed a particular way, turn a man on. And if the man doesn't have the control, if he's a rapist, then that is what is going to trigger him.
Fine. That means men should not have daughters. Would a man touch his daughter?
Would a man do it? Only the rapist do it. If a man see a dress sexy, when a husband see a dress up sexy, he's turned on by it, and that's the reality, right? When him go there and see a sexy woman, not good, right? But at the end of the day, he has the control. Only a rapist that is going to rape the woman, and he's going to do it because the mind is messed up. What's wrong with the mind?
I have order.
As a victim, I'll never ever blame the victim. As a victim, I will never ever blame the victim. Even if the vagina is served to you on a platter, you should not touch. You should not touch. You should never ever touch. I don't think there's any reason at all why a man should violate a woman. Never ever.
I'm gonna let Mo chime in.
I will chime in and say something. Tamara, women have body parts that are aroused too. We get wet, whatever you want to call it. We are turned on by what we see too. It's not just men. We are sexually attracted to what we see too. It's not just men. The difference is we don't have an organ that stands up and is visible to other people, and something that we can physically use to penetrate other people. Women rape women. Women rape men. Women abuse children just the same. So we see men and they are sexy when we are aroused. But because we're not seen as powerful, we don't go ahead and rape. So I have to disagree with that point. That because you dress a certain way.
I think it's merely power. It's a sickness. It's not every man who sees a woman that is aroused by the woman that is going to rape the woman.
It's not just rape,
Right?
Tamara. We're talking about the man who smack your butt in
And
public.
we're turned on by them. There are men who will see us and they're turned on by us, but they're not going to come and rape us. Only those who are rapists will do it. I don't
But
think
it's
it is
not just rape.
every man that will see a woman dressed a particular way and, you know, outrightly want to touch her.
So it's not just about rape, it's any inappropriate action, right? So whether it's just
These men
smacking,
are sick.
smacking the butt or
You have men who are not sick who will just smack you on your butt and touch your breast. You have men who are, you know what? I was walking downtown. I was about 17, and I had on a white shirt and one pocket, whatever. And you know, a man, no, it's not a pocket. It's a design on my breast. And a man come from out of nowhere and just grab my breast and say, "Nice design." No, do I consider that man sick? Maybe no. And not all men are mentally deranged who do these things to women. I mean, I think you have to be sick to rape. But you have men who make advances with the lewd comment, the sexual, whatever it is. It shouldn't. I will never ever blame the victim, guys. Never.
and we should
You know,
go ahead, Christopher.
Making a very good
somebody
point,
just made a comment.
not you can bring it up about the importance of teaching children and having that kind of conversation with them. You know, I remember my son, he liked to hug and kiss people. And one time he went to church and he hugged and kissed a little girl. And the mother, you know, she was upset because my son, you know, he just hugged the little girl and kissed her. I mean, he was about 4 or so at the time, right? Does that have any implication of the kind of man he's going to be when he grows up? Does it mean that when he gets older, he's going to be doing that kind of thing, right? You know, I'm merely just raising that point because somebody made that point earlier, the importance of having this kind of discussion. And you know, I'm still maintaining the point that it is not every man that's going to do it, right? Those men who do it, they are sick.
I agree with
You know,
but
I mean, I don't from the experience of that grand uncle who touched her inappropriately. That man was sick. And we have a lot of healthy people walking around, but they are sick. They are sick people.
I'm gonna let Sam chime in because I know this one is a burning one. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I can't see her name, but I will agree that yeah, you have some people who you know, sexually assault someone, they have, you know, some form of underlying mental illness or something, but not all of them. You have men who they just feel the power and control over a woman and will go ahead and do that. And as to what you said, the little boy came up and kissed the little girl. That's not an indication that he would he's good. That's not an indication to say, oh, when he gets older, you know, he would you know, disrespect man in a certain way. But at the same time, you have conversation with your children, right? From an early age to let them know what's appropriate, what's right, and what's okay. So in that setting, as a mom, that's what I would do, right? I wouldn't make a big deal of it, you know, oh, my son is going to be a raper or something like that. But we have to understand that when we change the narratives to put the blame on survivors as if what you wear, if you have no self-respect. Yes, we understand that if you carry yourself a certain way, you dress a certain way, you behave, you talk in a certain way, you are going to get, you're not going to get certain respect. That's clear, and we all understand that. But at the same time, if that individual does not have, if I don't have respect for myself and I want to go outside and dress in booty shorts and G-strings and all of that stuff, that doesn't give you the right to come and say yes, or I'm asking for it. We have people out there in Jamaica, we would call them, oh, they're mad. A lot of times we see them on the road, they barely have any clothes on. Is that an invitation to say they want someone to sexually rape them? No. So we have to be careful, and this is why society victim blame survivors of sexual violence, because we somehow believe that it is their responsibility to say, no, stop, don't rape me. And even when you say that, they still go ahead.
I want to speak to Tamara's point about the kids. I think that was an opportunity for both parents to educate their kids, even though they're young. When it came on to the little girl, you know, for that parent to say, this is what is okay, this is what is not okay, and move on from there. And also to Tamara, you know, this is what is okay, you know, it's not okay. Like, you know, I know you're expressing, you're a child, so you're just excited, and this is just who you are. But try to find try to find a way to explaining to them that, you know, this is what's appropriate, this is what's inappropriate, and kind of move on from there. So I thought it was kind of like an opportunity for both parents to have that kind of conversation with their kids and kind of start the building blocks from there on up.
There's a video on YouTube. It's called A Cup of Tea. They use that video to explain you know, rape. I think it's a good video to watch since we're talking on this topic, and it talks about consent. So it's talking about someone coming over the house for a cup of tea. They come over on Monday and they said yes to a cup of tea. They come over on Tuesday and they said, no, I don't want a cup of tea. Are you going to then go into the kitchen, make the cup of tea, put the sugar and all that stuff and give it to them? If they say no, are you going to hold them down and pour it, you know, on? So it talks about consent. So I think everyone should go and watch that cup of tea video on YouTube. It's a very good video. It talks about getting consent, and we need to, if we have children, start to have the conversation with them early. I know we really don't like to talk about sex. I used to think that baby fell out of the sky. There are resources on, you know, on the internet to use appropriate and friendly language to them so that they understand certain information you won't say. But if as a parent you're concerned and you want to start get that in, there are so many resources out there to start having that conversation with our boys and our girls.
Yeah, and I just want to add, like, we've had conversation about sexual violence and stuff like that on the channel before, and the consensus is it's never okay to blame the victim. It's never, whenever somebody comes to us like, oh, so why did that happen? What did you do? Like, you know, what actions you exude or whatever that invited this person to touch you? It's never okay. The victim is the victim. We can never blame the victim, no matter the circumstances, because they're not the ones that committed the crime. They are not. So
may I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Did I hear that somebody saying a woman who dresses that way, you know, has no self-respect? Did I get that point?
Well,
coming out somewhere?
It's society that says if they would give more respect to somebody that's more moderately dressed as opposed to somebody that has on less clothing. It's society. It's not our views, but how society, the views society has placed from back in the day. Because even if you look in church, and I go back to like in a country church, like pants was never a thing, you know. So you couldn't wear anything above your knee. That was never a thing. Because I never wore a pants until I left for college. Because I was always in skirts, you know, down to my knee. That's what it is, down to my knee. So I didn't wear a pants consistently until I left country. You know what I mean? Because it was considered, you know, not modest, you know, or you're showing off too much, because you know the pants kind of show with a curve and stuff, like it was never a thing. So, and even people in the community, if you're a Christian and they see you in a pants, oh well, I guess you're not a Christian anymore because of a piece of clothing. It's not based on your soul. It's not based on your living and how you live for Christ. It boils down to if I have on lipstick, if I have on a pants, you know what I mean? So it's society that has put this narrative on us, and in the 21st century, we still have this narrative to battle with, and it's so sad because we still have to be defending ourselves as female if we decide to wear a particular clothing If you're at the beach and you're in a swimsuit, what is wrong with you being in a swimsuit at the beach? You are at the beach. You want me to put on a t-shirt and a tie? No, I'm at the beach. This requires a swimsuit. You know what I mean? So like, society has done this to us, and no matter how the generations have progressed, and some might say they don't care, whatever, there's still a part of the population that still subscribe to this type of thinking. This is why we have to consistently have these types of conversations so that the young men that are growing up know that exactly the young men that are growing up, even if we have on shorts, it's not an invitation.
So we're having this conversation, right? All of us sitting here having this wonderful conversation. And what are we talking about? How women should dress. Do we ever have a conversation about should a man walk outside in
How men should dress?
down, but
Stop showing them stuff
and shirtless?
and get me in trouble. Stop getting me in trouble.
No,
Exactly.
we're not, because apparently
Stop getting me in trouble.
that conversation.
Cover on yourself and cover on the chest and all them things.
Right.
And then let's talk about how now we're talking about how women should dress. What we are inviting or not inviting onto ourselves, right? Let's say you wear a frock, you get raped or sexually assaulted. So sexual violence is so broad, so it comes to you in whatever shape and form. If you wore a sheet or if you were wearing a bikini coming from the beach, walking home with your friends, whatever it is, you got assaulted. Do you know the impact that has on you as a woman, as a person, for the entirety of your life? How it now will impact when you decide to go into intimate relationship? How do you experience show intimacy when you have children? All these other big things that life is going to throw at you. How do you even deal with them when you've been completely traumatized? So, rape is just not a one act and it home get rape, you know, vagina heal up and bum heal up or breast not feel no way again and you know we're gone but with business. No, it affects you for a lifetime. It affects every single decision that you make from that point onward. You know, so for us to equate all of that back down to what you wore, it's the utmost disrespect.
Yes, very.
Tired.
Trivializing it. You're trivializing it. Yep.
You know,
but the reality is, guys, that's what society does. Like the reality is that's what society does. It all comes back to the female, regardless of the fact that. Yeah, go ahead.
How many for those of us in the Alberta area, how many rape cases do you even hear about? Like after winter, guys, people practically want to go naked. Like summertime is just a time for show you and for your pum pum shorts and your whatever, because winter is so long. When summer comes, you just want your body to get some heat and your breast get some heat. So literally, you see what I'm saying? So it boils down again to where you're situated.
Because the men, because that is because of Prince culture. And you see, this is the thing. We are cultured. Men, I can speak maybe for Caribbean men. Yeah, we're cultured that listen, a girl must always be clothed. So if you walk into a room and a girl is in a bra and an underwear, then as a boy, man might give you a slap. Why are you here? You shouldn't even be in this room. You understand? So
1970.
No, but even if you're cultured that way, is it right though? Is it right? Even if you're cultured that way, is it right? That's the thing.
That was 1970.
And that is why.
Chris, this is what.
And that is why I was saying earlier. I was saying earlier, the narrative has to change. You're focusing on, you know what, the boys need to be taught to value women, but it should be a conversation with the boy and the girl. How does this girl see herself? Yeah, what's her self-worth?
But Chris,
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 your perception kind of skewed, Chris.
Because can I say something?
1 second, I come here. I grew up with my mother up a country, but Westman and bush in a back bush. When my mother saw you one suit of clothes, you see, it look like I curtain to tear off my window and sew it here. But I tell us, boy, you look so good when you go to church. You look so nice and so proper. Me go live with my stepmother, I'm gonna be at my store. My stepmother go in, let's say she go to Gap online and she buys all the things that the barrel come. I'm nice to come matching set with me. My shorts are front and what I call it skirt front and shorts are back and me look so nice and so proper. The entire front button down blouse. And my mother say, come at church, come at Bible study. I'm gonna put on it 7-year-old, you know. I'm gonna put on it, go to church. So my mother do tweet, she run one scissors through it. It depends on where you were brought up and the perception that you have about dressing. Because there was nothing wrong with what that mom bought me. And I could wear it to Bible study at where she lived. But I couldn't wear it to Bible study where my mom lived because my mom was Pentecostal and my stepmom went to an open Bible church. You see what I mean? It depends on how you were raised and what you like. Me not say at one side, oh, a woman alone for know how to carry themselves and a man alone for know how to treat woman. Yes, maybe everybody needs education. And that's the point of having things like this, to educate people. Because it doesn't matter where you're from. Like, boy, no. We can't agree with you, Chris. Me like you, but me can't agree with you.
Yeah, me can't agree with Chris.
Love you, somebody.
Right, and how deeply embedded culture is in the psyche of people. Because at the end of the day, if there is a woman who was dressing that particular way, risky as you say, and she gets raped, people in the community and wherever, they're going to say, yes, a long time man should have done this to her because she always dressed half naked on the road and all of those things. The society will say that. They will say it, right? Think about back in the country that you guys are from. Any little girl that you used to see dress a particular way, and if you hear that something happened to them, the same people in the community, they're going to say, yes, a long time it happened to her because she always walk half naked on the street. She never dressed good. She never, they will say that kind of thing. I mean, again, we're not saying that it is right. It shouldn't happen, right? But, the power in the cultural norm and thinking, right? It is there. It is there.
And that's what you said. I think that's
Miss Westmoreland, that that's one of the reasons for having this kind of discussion, because that's how we're going to educate people and bring the awareness to issues like these.
Okay, so this is how I'm going to say, Tamara, right? Tamara, did I get your name right? This is how I'm going to say. Society creates this narrative, and we have lived according to that narrative. We know children nowadays who are still living according to that narrative, or that narrative. They now teach our children, their grandchildren in that narrative. But the question here is it wrong or is it right? And the bottom line is, it wrong. Like, it's really wrong. Seriously.
No matter what, how you did raise through culture or whatever, it just wrong. No matter what morals you were growing up on, it just wrong.
Let me ask you a question. How many of you would take a picture in your two-piece bikini suit and post that picture on Facebook?
Been there, done that.
I have posted.
What was the response?
And Tamara, I wouldn't, because of my value system, because of me again, because I wouldn't. It doesn't mean that if you did and you did, any man has the right to touch you or to make sexual advances. Exactly. It doesn't, even if you're naked, no man has the right to. Absolutely.
This is my
you might not post the picture on Facebook, but when you're at the beach, thousands of people are there seeing you in the mornings on Facebook.
Here's my thing. I feel like if I'm going to take a picture in my bathing suit, I need to be on a beach. I am not going to just be in my house
and randomly take a picture.
Right. Yeah. Because it doesn't make sense. Huh? What?
I take it in my house, but I'm just not posting it.
I feel like that's what at the beginning of the conversation, that's why I said appropriateness. Because like I unless you are an influencer and like you're advertising something, I feel like I know everybody has the rights to do whatever, but I just feel like, why are you going to take a picture of a swimsuit in your house? There's no beach, there's no pool, there's no jacuzzi, there's like, you know what I mean? Like, what is the purpose of taking that picture and posting it? Why? So I feel like appropriateness in terms of how you dress, and again, it comes down to your individual system. and how you want yourself to be portrayed. It's not that it comes down to dress code, but the reality of it is people are judged based on how they're dressed.
I have
And
a tickling question. I have a very
go ahead.
tickling question to ask. For those of you ladies who've ever been to a strip club, I haven't had the privilege to go to one.
Never
So
been
a man goes to a strip club and sees a woman ringing on a pole. It's her job. She's making her money. There's a lot. We see social media, and we know a lot of women out there go to medical school and lawyer school or what, like to study law on the backs of
About
working
you and you take
strip club. So you swinging on a pole, jiggling your what? No, God knows what for the little singles that's been dropping for you for your living. Does that then invite a man to see you on the street after him see you in there and rape you?
Time and place.
No.
I'm not to rape, but
We're not.
hold on. You said to touch. You said touch first, right?
No, I'm saying like if you're there and you're working and you work, you do your thing or whatever, does it invite the person to then rape you because of what you're wearing?
No, not rape, but not rape. But we need to understand. I've been listening and I couldn't get some stuff in, but this is sometimes we as a woman we can't control what men sees. If them see up on the road and we dress skimpy, it's what they see, right? Fine, they can see, they can look. Even if them want peep through the window, that's fine. But it's when they touch is a different thing. You understand? I believe it's yes, it's uncomfortable when I feel so sexy and confident walking down the road in my little booty short and
Sorry,
men looking at me.
I think some of
Hello?
Can't hear you, Christopher. Christopher, can't hear you. Christopher?
I
Sorry,
was saying that
continue.
some of us need to mute our mics.
Okay.
Mute our mics.
I'm saying that I would be walking down the street in my booty shorts, feeling sexy and all of that, and I came out of the house feeling confident and sexy. But a man might call to me. I was not asking him to call to me, but I can't help that he called to me, right? I can't control how the words that he used to call to me and stuff like that. It's uncomfortable, right? But at the same time, I was listening earlier where Chris was saying something about persons' morals and stuff like that. Like you have to understand, like for some men, it's the norm for them. They have no morals where that is concerned. For a woman, it's what she wants to feel sexy, to feel something about herself. There's you have to understand being a woman, there's just some comfort, whether it's a big shirt or a bikini, to just feel sexy, to feel confident, to feel like you're an individual. Not welcoming a man to say you're not putting on a show for a man, you're doing it for yourself. But these men out there that think that everything a woman does is to get men attention, and it's not the case. You understand? I just want to look good. I'm in my t-shirt now. Today I went to the supermarket. I'm sexy as hell. I'm going to the supermarket today. I could I get any man? But that was not the point. I put it on because I said I haven't been going anywhere for all. I put on my little frock, show look answer me again, look weird because of quarantine. But it's not because I was trying to get a man's attention. You understand? Men, they always say men are going to be men. You understand? And persons were saying that we need to, have the conversations and stuff like that. But I'm sure many conversations have been had before, but I just saw people stay. No matter what you do, and you have some men, it's something wrong with them where they feel like they must touch. I'm going to share something. Sure, you have maybe never heard it before. I was living with my godmother. Camille said something earlier, and it just triggered something. I was living with my godmother years ago when I was in primary school, and her son's friend got deported, and he was staying at the house for a couple of weeks. We had a beanbag in the living room back then, and I was on it. And we never developed, as Camille was saying that she was telling her stuff. We never developed. But he kept when like I was tilting over on the beanbag, how he was trying to help me or save me every time was grabbing me by the crotch. And I never understood. until I got older, right? I never understood, but every time we were in the living room, no matter what it was, then you're going back on the beanbag, him grabbed me by the crotch. Like, up to this day, I can't understand. Some men are just sick. Some men, let me just get that clear. Some men are just sick. It's just in them. But to just close, we wear clothes, most of us. Yes, some of us women do it to get attention. Posting a pic for no reason. It's like keeping up with the Kardashians. But some of us just want to feel sexy. As I said, for me, I haven't been out, you know, carnival season lockdown for me, so I can't go out. I can't feel sexy, like just walking up and down. You understand? But me not invite no man to say, baby, or whatever, but I can't help that. However, if a man tries to step to me and touch me, he might get that. But at the same time, it's not an invitation to call to, it's not an invitation to touch me, much less to draw me and rape me.
Agreed. Camille, you had something to say?
Saying this conversation, this argument of women getting raped or sexually assaulted is as a result of how they dress and how they carry themselves. It's centuries old. It's a very old argument. You would think by now that clothes would come with a tag saying this one will attract unwarranted attention to protect us, don't you think?
Listen.
You think by now we'll have some clothes coming with some labels to protect us? No jokes, no jokes. No. You know why I find this thing so unnerving? This whole thing. It's not even from my experience, because this argument is rested on the premise that, you know what, as women we have a choice in what we wear, right? And because of what we wear, we're capable of arousing a man beyond self-control, that the man penis is able to get erected, and now the man has no choice but to touch. That makes sense in a civilized society? Absolutely none. Absolutely none. Christopher, I think you said something that was contradictory, and I think somebody over here agreed to it, that you, in one case you're saying that women, no man has the right to touch a woman, and then you're saying that women should be careful of how they dress. Come on, man, I should be able to walk around naked if I want to. I should be able to walk around naked. Because when your daughters, when men daughters walk around in front of them naked, they don't touch their daughters. Come on. Some of them don't touch the daughters, but they touch them on a road. Thank you. Thank you for the correction.
All right, guys. Absolutely amazing conversation. This is the time when we go around the room and kind of give what do you want, and I want you guys to just your closing remarks, pretty much what you have to say on the topic and what you want viewers to kind of remember from the conversation. Go ahead, Kayla.
My closing remarks on the topic would be, do not see somebody out on the road, whether male or female, and feel like you are entitled to do whatever you want with them. Nobody is going out on the road dressing for anybody else. Nobody is going out on the road trying to attract unwanted attention, because that's the whole point of the word. It is unwanted attention. Nobody is asking you to come up to them. I mean, yes, you can give them a compliment, but it is within bounds. Please be respectful in your interactions with other human beings, because nobody came out and asked for you to be giving them some attention that would make them feel uncomfortable, make them feel like, oh, I don't want to leave the house, make them feel insecure in some way, and make them just not want to interact with the general public. There's way too much going on in this world for people to be worried about, oh, okay, what kind of gans you are going to put on to go out on the road today? No.
All right. Samantha.
Just adding to what Kayla says, you know, what I wear, whether bikini, wherever I'm at, my clothing is not an indication, or it's not an invitation to say I want you to come and sexually assault me. If I'm in my bikini going to the beach, I'm not saying, oh, yes, this will get me raped today. Fine, I'm looking forward to it. So understand that, yes, you know, as men or as women, because men do also get sexually assaulted by women. Understand that even if you see me in my clothes and you may feel aroused, or you know, you have certain feeling, it's okay for you to have those feelings, but do not project that onto me, because your projection is unwanted to me. So understand that. And also get consent whenever you're entering into sexual activity. Always get consent. And remember, if in the middle of that sexual activity the person says stop, or no, I don't want to continue, just know that if you continue and force the person, that is sexual assault. So just understand that. People choose to wear whatever they want, and we should feel free to. Our clothes is not saying come and rape us. We don't harass you when you're on the road wearing marina boxers or anything. You don't hear of women taking men, bringing men into the bush, drawing men into the bush, or men missed it, and you know they turned up. Couple days later, they were held in a house, raped by a man, or raped by a woman, or by 5 or 6 women. You don't hear that. We don't have the conversation about men wearing certain clothes. So because we're having this conversation about women, that tells you that the conversation that we're having, it's wrong, right? We should be free to wear whatever we want. Your feelings and how you feel shouldn't matter to me. Control yourself.
Absolutely. Kadisha?
All right. While I can understand there's a time and place for certain attire, one must be respectful of the place and the time, right? But for me, whatever I wear in the particular place doesn't define who I am, right? If I choose to wear a battery ride to the shop, it's my choice. It's acceptable in the setting. I wouldn't wear it to church. However, that doesn't say who I am, right? And we must understand that persons are allowed to express themselves through clothing as well, fashion or whatever. So if somebody wants to wear something, it's their choice. The unwanted attention, um, persons must understand how uncomfortable they make people feel. They must think about how they would feel. So it's always reversed. Think about how you would feel if somebody was catcalling you and stuff like that, pulling you, touching you, without giving permission. So we must just be mindful of other people's preference, and just not touch nobody with if them not ask to touch them. Like, stop. Yeah, that's it.
No means no. All right. Chris? Chris Frozen?
We can skip Chris, please. We know his stance already. Just kidding.
We're gonna come back to
Chris get a whooping. Chris get a whooping tonight.
I think he's frozen. He's frozen, man.
He's frozen. We're gonna come back.
He's frozen.
Go ahead, Camille. Is he still frozen? Oh, you're mute, Camille. There you go.
Oh, women at all times have the autonomy, and it doesn't matter how they're dressed. It's in the woman's freedom to decide whoever she wants to have sex with and whenever she wants to have sex. All right. Consent is still very important. If she says no, it's no, and it doesn't matter how confused you feel about it. No means no, even if you think the way she dressed is inviting you. So, and that's it. And as it relates to kids, I have to drop this in there. We have to teach children about no touch zones. Absolutely no one. I tell my son, only Jesus alone should touch you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, or touch you in a way where you know that's your no touch zone. So again, your clothes doesn't depict how you feel about yourself. It doesn't say anything about your self-esteem. It could be that I just want to thaw out because it's summer. So if I walk down the road and I show my body been cold 6 months of the year, I want to get some heat and not inviting anybody. See what I'm saying?
Amen. Albertans agree with that one. Christopher, are you unfrozen?
Yes, I am back. Like
Good.
again, my third over internet. Yeah, but women, wear whatever you want. It is your body. It's your way of expressing yourself. However, just be mindful, like Tamara said, men are attracted. Men, there's something that happens to the brain when men sees a woman in a particular way. However, it does not give a man a right to touch. It does not give a man to make and even make any advance at that person. But I believe also that women have to be responsible. Yeah, men must know that. Listen, it's not your toy. It's not your toy. You do whatever you want with your toy, but it's a woman and it's her body. You don't touch her as you feel. You can say whatever you want, but don't touch her. Yeah. So that's the case.
Hey, Christopher, it's like you want to start up a next conversation. You know. Go,
And I know, I know, I
However,
know, but that's
while
that's
he was
why that's how I look at
talking,
it.
while he was talking, I was saying, so if I have my house cleaner, my housekeeper here, I'm not supposed to leave money on the table to take it out. Is that
listen.
what you're saying?
Guys, I don't
I
know if you're hearing me.
Yes.
hear you, Tamara. But can I ask a question?
Wait, Christopher, wait. What tomorrow?
No, she gonna pick
I
it up
love
if she
it.
a thief. If she's a thief, she's gonna pick it up. So as them say, don't rub
Exactly.
butter in puss mouth.
So
But you don't know that the person is a thief. You don't,
exactly.
it's
I'm
not
sorry,
about
guys.
Exactly.
saying,
I can't hear anything from my device, but I'm gonna speak anyway. So hope you're hearing me. All right. So in having this discussion tonight, guys, it's really appropriate, and we needed to have this kind of conversation, especially with the social norms, the cultural beliefs. And I believe this is just one step forward in helping to break down, the whole thought of society. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me? Because I can't hear
yeah.
anything that y'all are saying, but I'm speaking
Hearing you,
anyway.
Tamara, loud
You
and
know,
clear.
so let us continue to have these kind of discussions. Men, it doesn't matter what the woman is wearing, as we all said tonight. Maybe only Chris didn't say it. Even if she walk down the road naked, you have no right, absolutely no right to put your hand on her. And it doesn't matter how turned on you are. You could be as stiff as a board. Find some way to tie it between your legs. Leave the woman alone. Move on. But we also have to, admit the fact that generally speaking, normal men, as much as they will be turned on, I don't think they will, proceed to rape a woman. It is a sick one. So we have to be cognizant of the fact, ladies, that there are many sick men in this world. Even some of them that we work with, some that we go to church with, even some of them that we're living with, they are sick. So we have to be careful of them. All right. So, it was really good to be here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for the invite.
Bless. Monique, you're mute. There you go.
So I've done a little bit of research just to help me articulate what I want to say to close this conversation. And so we've been talking a lot about the act of rape, but I want to speak broader and speak about sexual assault, because a lot of times we've said it in this conversation, that it's not just about the act of sex that is unwanted, but it's also touching. I will read what one police station says that sexual assault. It is defined as an assault of a sexual nature that violates the sexual integrity of the victim. The Supreme Court held that the act of sexual assault does not depend solely on the contact with any specific part of the human anatomy, God, girl, but rather the act of a sexual nature that violates the sexual integrity of the victim. And the part that sticks out to me is the sexual integrity of the victim. Now I shall move on to my other part of my research, because Chris, I come for you now. I come for you.
What did I do tonight?
There are some myths out there, and I'm going to read 3 of them to you. So the myth is women shouldn't go out alone at night as they are likely to get raped. This is the fact. Only 1 in 10 of rapes are committed by strangers. The rest are committed by someone the survivor knows, such as a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, a partner, or family friend. People are raped in their homes, their workplaces, other settings where they previously felt safe. The risk of rape by a stranger shouldn't be used as an excuse to restrict what women can do. This includes the clothes that you can wear. Another myth, women provoke men to rape them by wearing revealing clothes or flirting. The fact is, it doesn't matter what a woman is wearing or how she is behaving. If she doesn't consent to sex, that is rape. Only the rapist is ever responsible for that. And the last myth. Once a man is sexually aroused, he cannot help himself. He has to have sex. The fact, men can control their urges the same way that women can. No one needs to rape someone for sexual satisfaction. Rape is an act of violence and control, and it can't be explained away, and there are no excuses. So I could care less if you want to you want to dress like the Mormons, or you want to dress like Cardi B's latest music video. Your body is your right. It's your right to give permission for it to be touched, used, abused, or for pleasure. And if you didn't give permission, it's rape. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, it's a wrong, point blank, period. And that's my end.
Lord have mercy. That is a very
good.
Christopher Copia, and then that's
one man against the world.
You know, it was an amazing conversation, guys. Well, Christopher, can I tell you, you are so brave. This
come remind me that and I did a woman.
I applaud you for coming on and having this conversation with 7 females. And you hold your own. We can't even him hold him own. Him hold him wall. You know what I mean? So what it pretty much boils down to, like we've said, the continuous narrative, rape is wrong, no means no. The victim is blameless. You do not blame the victim. The victim is the victim, and the person who commits a crime, that's a criminal. And that's what we all need to remember. We grew up in a society where we were taught one way. We were taught that dressing modest would not is not associated with these unwarranted sexual advances. That's not the case. If you're wearing a suit, whatever you're wearing, from a guy decides in his mind that he wants to do something inappropriate to you, he is going to do it. So it doesn't matter what you're wearing. Again, for me, I always preach appropriateness. Whatever you're wearing, whatever setting you are in, make sure that your outfit is appropriate for that setting. Like I said, you don't wear a swimsuit to church. Is what it is. And 2 things come into play at that point. You have to respect the religion. You have to respect the institution that you are stepping into, which is why you dress differently when you go to different places. So I'm going to leave it there. Men, control yourselves. Control yourselves. If you cannot control yourselves, God gave you 2 hands to put on yourself. Okay? Control yourself. You can deal with it yourself. And again, as somebody brought it up, it's not just about how women dress, because women get aroused as well. So men, I'm gonna need you to loosen up those shirts, since it's about dress code. Loosen up those shirts.
Stop wearing the spandex in a public.
Yes, see, that's why I wear this. Make sure y'all not lusting and all of that. You see, I just support.
Wear the spandex and go riding in tight.
Oh my God.
See, that's appropriate.
I want to thank you guys. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I really hope that each and every one of you will accept an invitation another time, whenever it does come, to have another conversation on here. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much. I always do short notices. Sorry about that, but the topics comes in the morning, and then I think about the cast. And then this is how it flushes out. So I really do think about the people that I'm inviting when it comes down to certain topics, because I know the topics that will get you guys really riled up. Some. I'll get this going. And thank you for coming on, Camille. You were going off in the comment section, so I was like, no, Camille needs to come on and share her views.
Trouble.
Can I give one suggestion to men, please? Just one suggestion. Because you might have some men thinking, oh, so what if I'm a rose? If you're a rose and you're afraid of getting blue balls, just open up the fridge and stick it in. Quick, it cool down.
And on that note,
I knew it was.
Good night, viewers.
Debate 9 o'clock. Tune into the debate. The Prime Minister and the opposition leader. You all need to watch that.
Open the fridge and stuck it in. Quick.
Exactly. Tabo blue
Brothers. I need some brothers today.
Hallelujah. Listen. And that was a quick tip from Camille. Thank you viewers for tuning in. Remember to subscribe, like to our YouTube channel, Housewives of Alberta, and we'll be back next week Saturday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I don't know which cast is going to be there. I don't know what the topic is yet, but it promises to be pretty interesting, and hopefully next time Christopher doesn't stand alone. No pun intended. Have a good night, guys.
Debate 9 o'clock. Debate 9.